Go for it.
Now from Atlanta News First Plus, this is Sports Tonight.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to Sports Tonight. I'm sports producer Scott Pennyman, and I'm almost choking on some water. How are you, Beth?
I'm good. I'm good. You need a second? I can talk. Get your bearings together.
As soon, I get all excited, like when the open rolls, I get all excited for the start of the show, and I think, bam, right as soon as the show's about to start, I get all fumbled up. But it's all good, though.
It happens to the best of us.
It happens to the best of us and to the worst of us. Oh, sorry. So, look, let's start off with some little bit of Hawks here as they're drawing closer to the NBA's play-in tournament. As they, I guess you can say, limping towards the play-in tournament, right? They get Trae Young back. So they thought they were in pretty good shape heading towards the play-in tournament. But then they found out I think kind of an emerging star with Jalen Johnson. I mean, he's taken a tremendous leap in this season. And to see him hurt his ankle the other night against the Heat was kind of crushing because they're going to need every piece they can get heading to the play-in tournament to try to make the playoffs. And now they got word that Johnson is going to miss about the next 3 or 4 weeks with that ankle injury, along with Okongwu. He hasn't played since February. He's going to be out. The Hawks are in dire straits headed towards this play-in tournament.
I mean, the reality is both of them are done for the season. Unless the Hawks make some deep playoff run, which I think is doubtful. They're both done, which is just not the news you want to hear right after Trae Young comes back. The reality, too, is this play-in tournament's probably most likely going to be in Chicago, so now you have to go on the road and win. And it's just going to be really hard to do without, a backup guy like Okongwu, but also Jalen Johnson, who is an emerging star, having a career-best season, has really kind of been the bright note of this team. It's just not what you want to see. And who knows how Trae Young's going to pan out. I mean, he just played last night against the Hornets, and they lost that game. That's a bad loss. So it's just an interesting thing. I'd be interested to hear what the team has to say after this season because I don't think it went the way they wanted it to.
No.
There's some things that were promising, but I don't know how you go from beating the Celtics twice at home and now they've lost 4 straight. It's just a really inconsistent team.
It's just inconsistency. That's been the problem, right? I mean, pretty much really since they made that Eastern Conference Finals run a few years back. I mean, it's just been plagued by inconsistency. It's been plagued by key injuries at the wrong times. And it's just, I don't know, maybe this is just kind of like a snake-bitten franchise or something because as they head to this play-in tournament, I mean, I could see them losing to Chicago, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, they had Chicago's number last time when they played in Chicago, so that's hopeful. But without the depth, with Trae Young still trying to get his feet under him, I think he played 21 minutes against the Hornets.
Yeah.
It's iffy. It's on the fence. You don't know what it's going to look like. So I wouldn't be surprised if they won in Chicago. I wouldn't be surprised if they lost in Chicago. And who's to say who they're going to play after that?
Yeah.
So it's just, I'll tell you what, there's just been so many injuries for this team this season.
Yeah, it's just bad luck. But I tell you what, though, I'm playing Chicago. They're playing a team who's probably missing their best player, Zach LaVine. He's been out for a while, too. So maybe that gives you some sort of hope that they can go in there and win or just beat Chicago no matter, what happens in the play-in tournament. But I think, look, even if they get through the play-in tournament and they get an 8th seed or something like that, I don't expect them to do much once the playoffs start. And this team isn't built for playoff success, so I don't expect them to go very far. And I think they'll just have to kind of look and see what direction they want to go in as soon as the season is over, right?
Yep.
Because, I mean, obviously they made the coaching change last year. And something isn't working with the roster, right? I mean,
Quinn isn't the issue. I think Quinn is a great coach. I think obviously they're going to give him more time. This is his first full season under his belt.
Yeah.
It will be very, very interesting to see what they do with this roster because you have to believe there's going to be trades coming, and it's going to be centered around either DeJounte Murray or Trae Young.
Yeah,
There's rumors about Trae as well, so it will be interesting to see what they can get, who they're going to be dishing, but the reality is you have to get better this offseason.
Like I said, the Hawks are stuck in that no man's land of the NBA. That no man's land is not good enough to seriously compete for a championship, not bad enough to land a franchise-changing star at the top of the draft. And
they're not even like a playoff team, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, they're in the play-in, but when you think of like Eastern Conference playoff teams, it's consistently the Bucks, it's consistently the Celtics.
Yeah.
You can always talk about.
My Cavaliers are going back.
Yeah, the Cavs are going back. I mean, they got
Yeah.
rocked by the Knicks last year.
Yeah.
I think they're a little bit different, but still.
But they're in it.
But they're back to back now. So
Right. The Hawks isn't
they got to get over that hump.
right, and they're not really. They haven't taken that next step. Right. I mean, everyone got all excited when they made the conference finals a few years back. It seems like there was like, wow, I didn't take the bait because I didn't think that was legit. I thought that was kind of a quirky year coming off the pandemic, and then I thought everything was kind of crazy that year. So I thought that was a little bit of fool's gold, even watching from a distance. I didn't think they were as good as conference finals team, and the 76ers kind of imploded on them in that series. So I think that led them to some fool's gold. They weren't as good as they thought they were, and now I think the seasons following that have sort of confirmed that for me. So tough sledding going forward for the Hawks, So UGA spring game though, right? Let's jump right from the Hawks to a really successful team. G-Day coming up on this weekend.
Yeah,
Saturday,
it was funny because we've been at the Masters, a lot of Georgia fans out there.
Yeah.
A lot of people and talking. We're just, what do you think of Georgia? It's Georgia. It's going to be another successful season in subcapacity.
They're gonna be all right.
They never have to reload. They just keep it pushing.
Just as soon as a 4 or 5 star guy leaves, who's going to be drafted, they have a 4 and 5 star guy behind him. As a matter of fact, that's who we're going to hear from kind of with this sound. Have more linebacker who's now going to be put into the mix here, a new wide receiver. They don't break down at UGA. They just reload. So when you see guys like Ladd McConkey leaving or Javon Bullard, and those guys are going to be drafted pretty high in the draft, Brock Bowers, what does UGA do? They say, let us introduce you to this young man here. And he's a 4 or 5 star guy. And he'll probably be a guy who'll be drafted in another year or two. I guess life is great if you're UGA, right? I tell you what, ahead of G-Day, let's hear from some of the players as they get ready to make their impact on G-Day.
It's Terrell, you've been playing under Coach Schumann for several years now. If there is a moment during your time here where you just like, wow, this guy is a genius. Whether he told you something was going to happen on the field or whether he gave you a little nugget, I think is what you guys call it, where you're like, man, this guy's a football savant.
I wouldn't say there's a moment. It's more like every meeting is constant learning. Like, I could have a million meetings with Coach Shu, and I'm going to learn something new every time. I feel like that's something you learn really, really quick, really quick, especially being a linebacker here at UGA. You have to know a lot, especially when you have a linebacker coach like Coach Shu, who's always going to teach you each level of the defense, safeties, DBs, D-line. You're going to make sure you know everything, and every day you learn that he's a genius for real.
We got to see a little bit of Raylan last season. Just what have you seen from him this spring as he's going through it and continuing to grow from his freshman year?
I'm seeing constant improvement. Just mistakes that were made prior being fixed up, but that comes with practice day in and day out. But I'm a good season towards him.
Terrell, you had a couple other. I mean, you're pretty highly rated out of high school, and you could have gone to anywhere else. But what made you come to UGA?
I mean, it's UGA. UGA is known for developing good players. So, I mean, I came to UGA to become a good player. That was kind of the main intention.
Terrell, ETN has a body of work that played a lot of SEC football. What's your impressions of the other Georgia running backs in terms of what you've seen this spring out of them?
You said the other Georgia running backs? I think we have a lot of depth in our running back room. Each running back has a lot of skills, a certain skill set that they bring to the table, and I think moving forward towards a year, we'll be good in running back room.
What have you seen from Justin Williams so far, and what's impressed you about him as a young guy in that room?
Justin has a lot of speed. He's a big guy, smart. I can tell he's gonna have a promising career ahead of him. That guy's pretty cool. That's my boy. But you can tell the potential that he has for sure.
Yeah, I believe you kind of popped onto the scene last spring game. I think you had a really good G-Day last year. So what are you looking forward to this spring game for you as an opportunity to maybe get some more playing time?
Well, it's been a journey of just the entire spring in general for me. Just constantly trying to make sure I'm improving day in and day out. So G-Day is just another day of making sure I add a +1 to it, in my opinion.
Kind of breaking away from football a little bit. I know that you had your SGA run with you and Miles Thornton. I wanted to ask about how that experience was and going through that process and stuff like that, and just being able to work with Miles on that project, even if it didn't go the way exactly you guys wanted it to.
Yeah, it was actually really fun. I feel like in a football bubble, we're not exposed to a lot of things around campus, and we're not able to see just the way certain things goes down. And so it allowed me to meet a lot of new people, experience a lot of things I wouldn't be able to experience just doing what I do. It was really fun too. So I enjoyed being able to do that. Plus we plan on running again. So to try number two.
How have you seen really the entire inside linebacker room step up with Smile not available this spring? Just how the entire group has made the most of the reps that are available with him watching from the sideline?
Well, in the linebacker room, the standard is the standard. So being that Smile is out, it was just expected of us to meet that standard. So we're all just trying to play to the level that Coach Shu expects us to play. And with Smile gone, it's just allows us all to get more reps to improve on each individual skill. So, yeah.
How long did it take you before you fully understand this defense? I remember asking the same question to Kobe. He said it took him almost a full year. How long did it take you before you knew absolutely everything that was your job?
Well, to know your job, probably a year, maybe even more. Like I feel like I start to even understand like the defensive concepts and as a grouping till last year, to be honest. But if you ask me, I don't think you really ever fully get it until you're just constantly able to get those reps. You're constantly learning more and more about the defense day in and day out. So I feel, even though I've learned what my job is, I feel like my job's not. I still haven't learned everything there is to know about the defense until I know what everyone else is doing.
Any more questions?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you and Dalen Everett actually played together at IMG and came together here at the same time. What has it been like to kind of experience playing on the same defense together from high school all the way through, and now both of you going into your third years here at Georgia?
It's cool. It's actually kind of surreal sometimes when we think back on it, because we'll sometimes recall back on oh man, remember when you was doing blah blah blah? Because I used to play DB in high school, so whenever I make some type of PBU, he's like, man, that's IMG Terrell and stuff like that. It's just we'll recall back on the days. But also with Jonell was for a short time played with us, but sometimes we just recall on it. But now we're here, so we just look ahead.
Hey Cole, we've talked to some of the other receivers about this spring and just what this offense can do. To you, what excites you the most about this offense and what you guys are capable of, just from what you've seen in the spring?
Yeah, we've been very explosive, and Coach Bobo is a very good play caller. We have some very, very talented weapons that are going to be used in the season and in the spring game, so look forward to it.
Yeah, Cole, just talk to me about being coached by James Coley this spring. Obviously, I believe you were recruited by Hankton, maybe McClendon. So you've gone through some changes here at the wide receiver coaching position. What's Coley like?
Yeah, he's a more technical guy. He's really smart, was previous offense coordinator here, and he knows what he's doing, so he's been coaching hard just like B-Mac and other coaches has been here. Any coach that's going to come through here that Kirby's going to hire is going to coach you hard. So it's been good so far, and I look forward to keep getting better with him.
What's your relationship like with Gunnar Stockton, and how have you seen him develop over the course of this spring?
Yeah, me and him's pretty close, I mean, I run with the twos a lot, so we get to throw together a good bit, and he's continued to get better every single day and continues to deliver good balls to me, so I can't complain.
Thinking about the opportunity that you've got this Saturday, just what defines a good G-Day to you?
Probably being productive, but at the end of the day, I want my team to win no matter what side I'm on, red or black. So whatever I can contribute to that role of winning would probably make me happy.
I can't remember exactly who all offered you out of high school, but I'm pretty sure Georgia was one of the only major Power 5 football teams that offered. What does it mean to be an in-state kid to, have mid-major offers and then all of a sudden, like, Georgia shows up? Was that kind of a surprise to you?
I mean, working to what you want to get to in life and in this sport is hard, and for somebody like this to take a chance on you that nobody else would, then it feels pretty good. And I just want to show the world that what I can do and what Georgia has offered me and what other kids like me can do and put on the stage.
Well, I wanted to ask you about another Georgia guy, Jacoby White. Just what have you seen from him during his first spring as he sort of gets acclimated to being in college?
I mean, he's been showing up pretty good. Every new kid has a learning curve and have to get better, and we have to help. The older guys have to help with that. So, I mean, but so far, every kid that in the receiver room that's new has been working hard, putting their head down, and getting better every single day. So,
What was the learning curve for you when you got here?
Could you go in a little more depth about that?
Just coming in, what did you take away from high school and bring here, and then what have you learned here at UGA?
I mean, yeah, I went through almost 3 coaches. Hankton left right when I got here, so BMAC was always the kind of hard nose, like, go get the ball, like it's your ball, like you're scoring, don't get tackled. Coley's on the other side of you're going to make that play, but he also encouraged you to like more technique wise and breaking down your routes like step by step by step, and just knowing I have both of those combined has made me a much better player.
Yeah, I believe you kind of came onto Georgia's radar. You camped at Kennesaw State, and you came here and camped. Just what is the process like of those camp experiences, getting in front of the Georgia coaches, and in your case, ended up walking away with an offer?
Yeah. I mean, it's a big step from where I started, because I didn't start going to camps until I was going into my senior year. Like, I didn't go to one single camp. And to have Georgia reach out to do a private workout and become to where I am now to get an offer, I had to go back 2 or 3 times. But, I mean, to work towards that goal and to finally achieve it, it feels really good.
What's been your impressions of Arian Smith this spring?
I mean, he's a dog. There's really not much more you can put to it. He's incredibly fast, can catch the ball, is a threat deep, is a threat short. So, I mean, that's pretty much all there is.
You ready to hear something funny, Bailey?
Let's hear it.
So how about, are you ready for another Tom Brady comeback?
Quit.
So Tom Brady appearing on Deep Cuts with Vic Blends was asked, would he pick up the phone if a quarterback-needy team came a-calling? Mr. Brady responds and says, I wouldn't be opposed to it. 46-year-old Tom Brady says he keeps himself in good enough shape. And, you know, he cited MJ when he made his comeback with the Wizards back in the day and said, yeah, if I don't know if they let me, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. That's a wild man.
So how many people have done this now?
You mean like just go
Like
away and come
retired, come back, Joe Flacco, him. There's someone else I'm forgetting.
Yeah, there haven't been too many who were that old. Maybe George Foreman when he won the heavyweight championship at 44.
I believe he's probably still in
45.
great shape and could still sling the ball. Okay, yeah. I believe that. But also, when they come back the second time, it's not nearly as good as the first time.
This is like, didn't he like retire and then actually come back? Remember that one off season? He said he was done, but then he came back and then retired again.
It was speculation. I just don't. I think he has so much love for the game, he's having a hard time giving it up. I think that's what it is. But just like, dude, you've done enough.
Yeah, I think the problem is.
But then he's probably seeing Patrick Mahomes and is like, dang, this kid's going to break all my records. And it needs to get back out there. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Look, I guess it's kind of hard when you've done something your entire life, right? I mean, from high school through college and you know physically, you know, obviously playing in the NFL for over 20 seasons, and you know physically that you can still do it, right? Mm-hmm. He probably sees a lot of the bad quarterback play in the NFL. He sees teams like Washington and the Raiders, and he looks at those teams and he goes, you know what? I could probably still play quarterback for one of those teams, so it's probably hard to
But
just
also,
walk
why
away.
would you want to for those teams that aren't even real contenders?
He probably just wants to play football. You know, when Michael Jordan came back with the Wizards and they weren't very good, he just wanted to play basketball. It wasn't all out of his system yet. So I think with Tom Brady, maybe it's just not 100% out of his system yet. I don't know.
Just let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Hey, so I know earlier we talked about G-Day, right, for
Yeah.
the for UGA, but don't forget Georgia Tech. They're right down the street. And I will be going to that spring game on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll have them all covered on Saturday.
We'll have them all covered. Brent Key trying to get the team going. I think he has a team going in the right direction. He did a pretty solid job last year. And so he'll be starting his second full season with Georgia Tech, trying to keep the momentum going to last season. As they get into the spring here, they're trying to be more explosive offensively. So we're going to hear from about 2 or 3 of their wide receivers on their team talking about how can they develop more of a vertical game and really just become a more explosive offense in 2024. Check it out.
Obviously, last year starts off great and then got hurt, and you tried and tried to come back, but it, obviously weren't the same. Just how does it feel to be healthy now, and how frustrating was that the way the season unfolded last year?
Yeah, it was very frustrating for me. Never really had like a big major injury like that before, but thankful for the training staff that we had here. They tried to get me back before the end of last season, but God had different plans for me. But coming back this spring and really my mindset when we got back in January was just attack everything, because this is my last go round. So this is my last chance to put some good film out there to try to get to the next level. And I really just been trying to take it a day at a time. But being healthy again and just feeling like myself again. It not only does it a confidence booster for myself, but it's a good feeling, and I think it's a good feeling for the room and for the rest of the team, because I know what I can bring to this team and what I can bring to our receiver room. But it's an amazing feeling to be back out there again.
Malik was just talking about the relationship with Haynes that you all have now, and how you're all on the same page. Tell us about that a little bit and how much easier it is in this offense with him year 2.
Yeah, so year 1, we made plays out there. Wasn't as consistent throughout games as we should have been. But this being our second year all together, bringing the whole skill position back was very big for us. And, just you can kind of see it on the field. And I really can't wait for you guys to see it on Saturday. But it seems like everybody's clicking at the same wavelength. And like Malik said, I feel like I came in last year and kind of already had like a previous relationship with Haynes. But now everybody has a relationship with Haynes. And that makes it that much scarier for, guys like Eric Singleton and guys like myself, Malik, Christian Leary, getting Leo Blackburn back healthy, Abdul Janess. So it's good for the whole group. And, our job is to make his job easier. And I feel like we've been doing that so far.
Naturally, everyone knows about the talent and the depth you have at the receiver position. Going out there, has the competition been fun, and has it made you a better player?
Yeah, for sure. Coach McKnight has done a really good job of putting guys in different positions throughout spring practice and, getting different looks. And so, like, the other day we had Abdul in the slide, and, I'm playing all over the field, and, different guys are moving in different places. But it's even better competition because we're so close as a unit. So everybody wants to see the other have success out in the field. So, yeah, it's been a really good spring for us, and, we're really looking forward to putting the final product out there on Saturday.
Coach McKnight's known as a guy that develops receivers. His coaching style seems very different. The drills you guys do are different. Just what has it been like working with him, and do you kind of see where maybe that reputation comes from?
Yeah, so it's been amazing. I've really had a good time, getting to know Coach McKnight and, getting to be one of his players. And, like you said, just from our individual drill work, I personally can see how it translates to the game. And what I like for me especially is, like, after each play, Coach McKnight's in my ear just giving me, just little tips, things to remember, things to, keep in mind when I get to the line of scrimmage. So I do like what Coach McKnight's been doing with the group. And, it's kind of hard when you have a coaching change right before spring ball, trying to build relationships. But, Coach McKnight went out of his way to meet with all of us individually and get our parents on the phone as well. So he's really been intentional with trying to build a relationship with us. And I think that makes it that much sweeter.
Jackson? Offense obviously took big strides last year, but how much better do you think the group can be? And, what are your expectations for it this year?
Yeah, I think The expectations for our group is to just dominate each and every game. Like I said, I feel like we left a lot out there. You know, some games that stick out to me personally are, you know, Boston College and, you know, Bowling Green, and even the Louisville game. Still have a bad taste in my mouth about that one. But, you know, going into year 2, you know, like I said, having the whole group back together for a second year, you know, getting to be more comfortable in Coach Faulkner's offense, I think we can be extremely dangerous. But it's up to us to go out there and execute.
Anything else for Chase? Awesome.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Eric, you know, obviously you had a big, you know, freshman year. What are your expectations and what are your goals to improve on that first year?
Really just come back better and do everything better than what I did last year. You feel me? I need better stats than last year for sure. I'm trying to have at least 1,000 yards receiving this year. That's my goal.
Kelly? What's Coach McKnight been like to work with? And it seems like he's very detail-oriented and has changed a lot of the things you guys are doing. How have you seen that reflect in your game?
I'm Coach McKnight. He really like big on technique, so it's really improving my technique, like releases, top of the route, all that is making me better as a player. And how he's really like coming in, picking up on everything fast, because he just got here beginning of spring and he already knows some of the plays and things. So.
Chad?
Tell us about the number change.
Really, I don't know. I just thought like I was a junior, I was a second, so why not rock 2?
Kelly? You were obviously thrown into everything last year and playing as a true freshman. Head was probably spinning at times.
Yeah.
Just how much more comfortable are you in the offense now and going into year 2?
It's definitely helps a lot already knowing some of the plays and the experience. It also helps a lot. I didn't think that at first, but being out there, the game is moving a lot slower for me.
And you have a big group. You know, has anybody caught your eye? Anybody new, or you know, guys you worked with last year? You seen any growth from some of those guys?
Everybody grew over the off season. Everybody got better, but mainly it's good to have Leo back. Leo, Zion Taylor, great. Christian Leary, Malik, he coming back even better. Chase, better. Abdul, better. Everybody really.
You mentioned having the goal of 1,000 yards. You want to have better stats, better I mean, what did you do this offseason to put yourself in position to have a better year?
I'm just working on my technique mainly. You know, of course everybody knows I have speed, but I want the route running part to be like down pat. So that's what I'm working on.
You had the opportunity to run some track. Just what was that experience like, and what did it kind of bring back some memories for you?
Yeah. It definitely was a great experience. Be back out there on the track, and then bond with another team. So that's more teammates I have, more resources for me.
On that same subject, is that something you plan to do in the future? And you know, I talked to the track coach. You know, he said.
So before we get out of here, Bailey, you have anything special on your mind?
The Masters going on this weekend. Round 1 started today. Was a delay because of rain, but got things going. I am very eager to see how things pan out. Christo Lamprecht finished tied at 58, currently at 2 over. For all the Georgia Tech fans, keeping an eye on him.
Yeah. So what's on my mind, Bailey, today was the passing of O.J. Simpson, the great running back for the Buffalo Bills. You know, just. Looking back, look, I never saw O.J. Simpson play live, but when you talk to anybody, you know, I have a lot of older relatives who grew up watching football, especially with Buffalo back in the day. The running back was always the glamour position back in those days, and he was just, you know, so good back there. I remember watching the clips of him running through the steel curtain defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers and everything he did on the football field. So he passed. Kind of surprised me, I guess. I didn't know that he was suffering from cancer. I don't know if anybody knew. So
yeah, I think it was announced 2 months ago.
Okay.
Obviously, a little bit of a controversial up and down life for him.
For sure. Yeah. So, but you know, he passed, and you know, obviously, you know, best wishes to him, to his family. Bailey, we like. Get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow for Sports Tonight. See ya.